game, he's been pulled. They're starting a 6th pulled from the game. He's been pulled in 3 of the games. And right now his goals against average 3.23. But there's one of the best notes we have, and that's Andy Van Helmen, one of the senior referees in charge. He'll be assisted by Swede Knox and Wayne Bonney. Now let's go to Doug McLeod.
All right, Sonny and the Stars. Perry Berezan launches the first shot on goal of the game at 8 seconds of the first period. Berezan, Sherla, and Duchesne quickly on, but now a quick line change at 18 seconds by the North Stars. We'll bring on Neil Broughton and Aaron Broughton. Minority, Chambers, and at the moment, Sherla. They'll complete that as Sherla gets off, and the line change will be complete. Puck comes through neutral and is tipped back into John Casey. Now it is Gavin with the Broughton brothers. Chambers and Giles. A shot from Conroy goes right on. Now Gilbert plays it to the corner. Troy Murray can't play it, and Aaron Broughton got it ahead, but not out. It picked up by Troy Murray at neutral. Conroy for Chicago. Deflected as it went away. Here is Brian Bellows for Minnesota. Turned back by Keith Brown of Chicago. Conroy is there for the Blackhawks. Steaming down the left side. A tip hits the goal post for Troy Murray. Murray has shot the puck in the North Star net twice in recent weeks. Once in the playoffs, or in his own net, I should say, to the benefit of the North Stars. Once in the playoffs and once in the last game of the regular season. But has not found it so far in the playoffs, but he was so close that time on a little deflection that hit the post. Lemieux was on that shift for Chicago. Now here is Doug Wilson ahead, and the Hawks. Presley comes out. Thomas over the line. Wayne Presley overskated it. Shoot. That's wide. Now here's a blast by Wilson. Didn't get turned out to be a blast at all. Wilson shooting. Tip. And a big screen in front of Casey. Perry Berezan pulls it away. Chicago has launched a number of shots, but only one of them has been on goal.
Well, you can tell they've got the edge right now. They have control of the puck for about all but 5 seconds of this game.
2-on-1. Roenick centering. Shot by Sutter. Saved by Casey. He was hit by Sutter. Rebound by Thomas. Hit the goalpost. The whistle has been blown. Sutter fired it in after the whistle, and Basil McRae happens to be the nearest policeman there, but Casey came right out at him too.
Well, you can see that Creighton had no idea. I don't think that the whistle had gone. You can see the pressure he's being put on right now at the back of the net. Casey had the puck. Casey has come up with some big saves here already. The Blackhawks have registered just 2 shots on net, but they've had the chances. They hit the goalpost. The North Stars have got to respond a little bit quicker here coming into this start of this first period. We're still scoreless here, but watch the action here. A 2-on-1 situation. 2 of the North Stars got trapped back. You saw them at the top of your screen. Casey makes a save. Then he was hit right here by Sutter, who went into him, and then the shot off of the side panel by Thomas had Casey with the puck. The whistle had gone, but that's when Chicago came in, and of course the action took place in behind the net afterwards.
There have been phantom goals in this series for the North Stars, but no matter how many times it happens, what could have happened in the Calgary-Los Angeles overtime? It went to double overtime, and the Flames thought they had it won.
Dwayne Sutter has picked up 2 game misconducts in this series, one of them being for a stick-related incident, and he was the guy I thought was Creighton, but it was Sutter. I missed the numbers. There was a 12 instead of a 22. He was in behind the net and taken it heavily into the boards by everyone, and Casey very visibly upset and said something to Andy Van Helmen, who would have made the call. No penalties call. We're still scoreless. 17:59 to go, period number 1.
Gagne, Barber, and Bellows on for Minnesota with Murphy and Siren. Here's Troy Murray for Chicago. The puck is in the North Star zone. Casey swings it clear. Up the near boards, but Conroy pumps it in off the equipment of North Star Larry Murphy, who got the game-winning goal Saturday at Met Center, and what an inspiring game that was. Here's Troy Murray, flipped away off his blade on a sweep check by Murphy. Lemieux touched it. Siren got Lemieux. Murphy now with Greg Gilbert working in the right corner boards, and Gilbert digs the puck away. Puck's been in the North Star zone much of the early first period, but Barber gets it free for Gagne. Stars need a change, and Gagne will toss it right down on to Greg Millen. Now Sean Chambers for Minnesota, paired with Mark Tenorti. Up for Basil McRae. Stars completing the change. Berezan and Sherla on at the moment, but Berezan will leave, and Neil Broughton will come on. Interesting combinations here as they're trying to get the rest of the line on. Now Aaron Broughton is on. Here's Larmer shooting. Save by Casey. Now the inboard Chicago keeping the pressure on in the early going. Only 3-2 in shots on goal, but if you count all shots, wide disparity for Chicago. Here's a high center. That's dribbled through everybody, and Wilson will chase back into his own zone. Doug Wilson ahead for Steve Larmer. No score in the game. 3:20 gone in the first period. A break in the action, and we'll be right back to Chicago Stadium in Game 7. Steve Larmer had a good chance here as Chicago kept up the pressure.
Watch the pads open there just a little bit, but see how quickly Casey was able to bring those pads back together. Kurt Fraser talked about at the beginning in the pregame. He talked about the fact that the longer the North Stars can keep the Blackhawks off the scoreboard, the better it's going to be for them.
Now here's Neil Wilkinson for Minnesota. Checked by Bob Murray. Creighton comes over the line for Chicago. Thomas trailing, but Gavin really had it locked up. And Creighton was decked by Kurt Child. Now Gavin grinding away on Thomas. Bellows just shook Creighton off. Creighton can't keep his feet. He takes a little swing. Now an elbow at Bellows. Andy Van Hellemond, the referee, watching, but he'll let him go. Then Creighton decks again as he tried to get up on Bellows.
That's twice.
Now here's Neil Broughton falling. Giles comes out for Minnesota. Brian Bellows for the North Stars with 4 playoff goals, but Presley picked it away. Steve Thomas over the line, shooting. Wide of the net and right back to the goal crease. Wilkinson checked back there and really drilled by Thomas. Here is Casey out of the net. He was checked by Thomas as well, and the puck comes to neutral. Chicago's Keith Brown turns it back, and Van Hellemond had to duck out of the way of that one.
The North Stars have got to pick up a little more speed here. They're trying to play the physical part of the game early, but they've let up on some of their speed as they're trying to contain the Blackhawks. Chicago coming in headstrong here in the opening minutes of this. They have controlled things, as we said. They've only outshot the Blackhawks by 3-2, but little things do make the difference, and they've had a good start here, and the North Stars have got to be able to respond to that. Here's Casey making the play right here, but watch right here as Thomas just takes out his man right along the boards, and Wilkinson has no chance to get it. He stays right with him, the first man in, to take out the opposition, and that allows his teammate to come in to pick up that loose puck, and that's exactly what happened with Chicago.
They subsequently belted Casey as well down behind the net. No score. 15:41 to go in the first period with Tom Reed, Doug McLeod at Chicago Stadium. Game 7 of the Norris Division semifinals. The winner to meet the St. Louis Blues on Wednesday night. Here's Gaetan Duchesne. Up past Berezan. Steve Conroy for Chicago working down in his own zone. DeLeon couldn't pick it up. Now Siren. DeLeon for Minnesota. DeLeon behind the net. Checked by Conroy. DeLeon still on the puck, but in came Jeremy Rodick. And Rodick brings the Hawks back out to neutral ice. Siren chops it back in for Minnesota. And Greg Millen, who worked only 20 minutes on Saturday night at Met Center, plays it back out. Rodick now for Jocelyn Lemieux, back in the lineup after not playing the other night. Tenorti ahead, picked off by Doug Wilson at neutral. He's checked by Neil Broughton. Now Tenorti is there, and he rifles the puck off the boards into the Chicago zone. Yawning. Here now is Chicago's Greg Gilbert. Wilson behind the net, checked by Neil Broughton. Aaron Broughton there. Here's Neil, who got a beautiful goal against Chicago on Saturday night at Met Center. A 360 backhander into the North Stars zone, but Gilbert shoots, and Chambers saves the day as Casey lost his balance getting back. Sean Chambers as backup goaltender. Lemieux now, the drive by Bob Murray and a crowd. It's in there somewhere. And Casey complaining to Van Hellemond with Gilbert and Tenorti mixing it up in front. No score with 14:16 to go in period number 1.
Format was introduced in 1939. A total of 55 series have stretched to the full 7-game limit. The home team has won 33 of those games, or 60%, while the visiting team has taken 22 or 40%. John Casey coming out of his net there, but Sean Chambers back in position to help out, and that's where the netminder comes back in and says to his defenseman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 14:16 left in the first. There's no score at Chicago Stadium. An unfair advantage, and they'll do it again. The last time the North Stars went to a 7-game in a playoff series was in the Norris Division Final in 1984. They beat the St. Louis Blues. The last time the Hawks had to go to a 7th game in a series was in 1971 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they lost that one, of course, to the Montreal Canadiens. On the draw, Bob Murray pumps it behind the net. Here's Michel Goulet. Now wheeling is Savard, deep left circle. A whip at it by Chambers, got it ahead on a falling play. Now DeLeon and Duchesne, 2-on-1 center from DeLeon, broken up by Dave Manson of Chicago, who played it very well. Manson, the Hawks veteran, for Larmer. The drive goes high and wide, smacked off the end glass. Sonority up. Larmer is there, fencing with Duchesne in the corner boards. Behind the net, Dennis Savard for the Blackhawks in front. Goulet misfires. Put backhand shot saved by Casey on Goulet. Now Savard off the dasher. Backhand hits Chambers, and Chambers will ice the puck.
Well, North Star's having problems in their own zone, but Chicago has really been coming on. They've been moving, they've been skating, they've been controlling the puck, and John Chambers back finally just shot the puck down the ice in desperation to get a stoppage of play to try to slow the Blackhawks down a little bit. No goal scored in this game as of yet, but the Blackhawks pressing. Watch the play here. You've got 3 men out there, and look at the play back here, but just a miscue on the part of Goulet as the puck came right to him, and a perfect pass by Savard, but he could not put it away, and finally the North Stars able just to clear the puck down the ice. Sheeran, if in doubt, if you're having trouble, get the puck and get it out of there. You see the physical play that's being played in front of the net right now. Now the North Stars have 3 men back in front of the net, as you can see, but by then the damage had already been done by the time they got in there.
John Casey with the 4th best playoff goals against average in the league, 2.67 coming into this one. The North Stars have a very good staff goals against. In fact, both the North Stars and Chicago are tied in staff goals against at 2.67 in the playoffs. That is the 3rd best, trailing Montreal and the New York Rangers. The blade snapped off Barber's stick, but Bellows will pump the puck down onto Greg Millen. Millen in his 3rd team this year, started at St. Louis, went to Quebec. Now here's Barber centering. Gagne shoots, and he just missed on the wrist shot. Now Barber. Right corner boards, checked by Doug Wilson. They grind there. Bellows pulls it away. Right in front, but nobody home. Giles, Bellows left circle. Past Gagne, and it'll sail out to the North Star zone. Here's Greg Gilbert for Chicago at neutral. Nice cross-ice pass through traffic for Adam Creighton. They go to the right corner boards. Creighton checked by Giles. Trying to shake him away. Behind the net, Creighton with a backhand shot off the right pad of Casey. And Wilkinson brings the North Stars out. For Gagne. Now over the line, Wilkinson was onside. And he just dragged that right toe. Sweet Knox started to throw his arm up and then pulled it down again. Now the Hawks, Creighton will pick it up in his own neutral zone. Flutters off the end boards. Casey swings it clear, and here is Gaetan Duchesne. No score in the game. Casey turns it back out to neutral ice.
North Stars only have 4 men on the ice. Well, 15 seconds there. Now they've got 5.
Paget is dancing around and mad back behind the bench. Somebody didn't get the cue. Now the puck comes back into the Chicago zone. Manson behind the net. Starts back out. Manson driving on Siren. Crossing at right point. Drops it back to Basil McRae. Off Siren's skate, but Murphy will play it back out again. You don't even want to think about the proverbial bounce of the puck in a game like this. It goes all over the place. Neil Bront right up the gut, shoots, and just missed the mark high. Now they go to the corner. Here's Gavin for Minnesota. Aaron Broughton down to help. Broughton checked by Manson. Roenick is there. Puck squirts free. Gavin now to the left corner. Here's Stewart. Gavin to chop it to the corner. Penalty coming on Chicago. Save Manson. It's going to be a North Star power play when we come back to a scoreless first period.
At Tina, we work hard for your car, so your car can work hard.
Playoff season, 7 goals and 40 chances for 17.5, but the one thing, Doug, they've got to remember is they've also given up 2 shorthanded goals. One by Steve Larmer the last game and another one by Presley. Here's that, look at the puck that's bouncing right here on Neil Broughton. He was still able to get the shot away, but Greg Millen came way out of his net to cut that angle down.
Now here's Mike Modano on for the North Stars, and we've not seen much of him early in the game so far. Power play number 1 for Minnesota. Modano flanked by Bellows and Barber, with, of course, Murphy and Neil Broughton on the point. Larry Murphy on the power play. Here's Bellows. No score in the game. 11:06 to go in the first. Millen behind the net. Bellows shooting. And a score! Barber in front of the net. Oh, it was a little slow motion floater that just changed direction on Millen. Bellows fired, and Barber was there. And 15 seconds into the power play, the North Stars lead 1-0.
Doug, we said the one way to quiet things down this building is for the North Stars to get that first goal. You watch the play right here. This is not a hard shot.
No.
But look, it's on the target. And Donnie Barber coming in, got the stick up. It was below the shoulders, and it's a good goal. Look at the position of the referee. But Brian Bellows with a good shot, putting it on the net and just changing direction enough to give the North Stars a 1-0 lead. The goal by Barber at 9 minutes and 2 seconds of the period.
His third of the playoffs and 18th of the year for Don Barber. A power play goal on the tip, and the North Stars lead by a score of 1-0. Bellows obviously will get one of the assists. The North Star power play in the playoffs has been 23.8% in Chicago and only 10.5% in that center. Interestingly enough, normally you'll have much better stats on the road. 1-0 North Stars. Now here is Savard for Chicago. Boy, that did quiet things down some here. Wilkinson behind the net. Savard wheeling in. Flipped off the boards. Bob Murray will pick it up for Chicago. Murray over the line. Slowly, and a little soft wrister down onto Casey. Now here is Shane Sherliff. Out for Neil Brunt. Poked by Manson, the back checker. Michel Goulet is there. Now Savard. Open, turning, falling. Goulet chipping. No. Neil Broughton. And it comes back out to neutral. Wilson for Savard, but the Blackhawks were offside with 10:06 to go in the first period. It is Minnesota 1 and Chicago 0 on Don Barber's 18th goal of the year and third of the playoffs, and a single assist goal to apparently to Brian Bellows. So it'll be Barber from Bellows, one assist only at 9:02 on the power play.
Well, that's Don Barber's second power play goal that he has scored on the year, so 2 out of the 3 have been power play. North Stars doing a lot of quick line changes out here, trying to juggle the lines. Mike Keane talked about the fact that he had the last line change, but every time the puck goes into the Chicago zone, Minnesota seems very intent to get over the bench quickly and get the players out against the Chicago line they're looking for.
Tom talked to Pierre Paget before the game, and we'll run that tape for you in the first intermission tonight. Also scheduled a live interview with the North Stars' Perry Berezan, has had a good playoff series so far. Now, Dave Gagne stands for the draw against Chicago's Troy Murray with 10:06 to go in the first period, and the North Stars leading 1-0. Murray tossed, and Creighton will come in. I'm sorry, Lemieux will come in. Jocelyn Lemieux. Gagne won the draw. Murphy's shot is blocked. Here comes Lemieux, but he's got a thigh injury. I don't know how fast he's going to skate. He still rockets a good shot down onto Casey, who gloved it away, and Lemieux took a big-time slash at Casey. Billy Sterin now for the North Stars. Off the skates of Bellows and out to neutral. Here's Gilbert. Well, the Hawks only had 4 men for a while. Lemieux now tied up by Bellows. The puck meanders into the Chicago zone. And Gagne's there, shooting, deflected away by Millen. Out they come. Creighton for the Blackhawks. Checked by Bellows, but he popped through. Gilbert give back to Creighton. Down the left boards, got through Murphy. Creighton still going. Creighton behind the net. Creighton wheeling. Creighton fanning on the puck, but it's loose. Yanni to drive, and a save. Now back out to neutral it goes. Brian Bellows picks it up, crossing the line on Yanni. Centering, Gagne, backhand, and it's just misfired. Now here comes Gilbert and the Hawks come back. And neutral, it's Wayne Presley. Crossing with Yanni. Presley with a shot, saved by Casey, and then had it pop away, and he'll smother it with 8:57 to go in the first period. And thanks to that tip-in power play goal by Don Barber, it's the North Stars 1 and the Blackhawks 0.
Bellows has ice on his eye right now. As you can see, the small cut just to the right of his eye, and if it needs any medical treatment, he will get that after the first period. Dave Gagne had a great opportunity to put the puck into the net to make it 2-0 on a nice pass by Bellows, but he just miscued on the pulling the puck over and went wide of the net.
1-0 North Stars. Berezan, now Sean Chambers in his own zone. Here's Mark Tenorti. Up the boards for Duchesne. Flying check by Thomas. Didn't really get much of Duchesne, but did throw his foot in there for Thomas. Thomas and Duchesne digging away. Thomas tapped it back. Here's Yanni with a drive. Right to the glove stop of Casey. Out comes Chambers. Off the boards. Dalia got it to neutral. Perry Berezan there with Duchesne on the off wing. Here's Berezan. They cross up on the slot. Penalty coming. And it'll be on Minnesota. delayed penalty is coming on the North Stars. Trent Yawney for Chicago. Now Millen jumps onto the bench. Hawks have pulled the goalie, skating 6-on-5 on the delayed penalty. But Casey will touch the puck, and it'll be a Chicago power play when we come back. 1-0 Minnesota to score.
Well, Chicago on the power play as Gaetan Duchesne is called for tripping at 11:52 in front of the Chicago net. He and Sutter came together, and the referee said, you got your leg out, and that was enough. So Chicago on the playoff series, 5 goals of 41 chances. As you look at it once again, see the leg come out right there? And as a result, the penalty call is made. 12.2%.
As bad as the Hawk power play has been in the playoffs, it's been dismal on the road. They did not score in 15 power play tries at Met Center in 3 games. Now, from the draw, here is Wilson on the power play. And 12% for the playoffs is just about how it was during the regular season against the Stars. Wilson whips one high. Here is Yawney. Tenorti checks Yawney. Steve Larmer now 1-0. The North Stars lead. 7:51 to go in the first period. Yawney lost the puck and his stick, and it's broken about halfway down the handle. He didn't lose it. He had to drop it because you, of course, can't play with it.
He didn't realize it until he got back to the blue line. It was broken, of course, as a penalty if he played with a broken stick, so he very alertly dropped it and then tried to play it with his hand to keep it in.
Now out comes Wilson. Shovels the puck ahead to Larmer. Here comes Larmer. Shooting save by Casey. Fellows on the rebound, but Savard pulled it away. Yawney on the power play for Chicago. Now Bob Murray. Murray up high. Savard one time. It deflected high. It actually came on the roof of the net. And play will be stopped as the puck slapped off that end glass and wound up right behind John Casey, who's arguing with Van Helleman now about where they're going to put it.
Well, I think he's also arguing Casey using a stick a little bit in that crease area. And, of course, Casey's had 3 penalties in this series so far. The faceoff will come outside, but watch the little play right here. Larmer had the speed to get around Tenorti right here. John Casey able to make the save once again. And then very alertly, Bellows coming in, moving the puck off to the undangerous area as he was able to handle it. But Casey once again coming up with a big save. The Blackhawks 9 shots on net, but they have no goals. The North Stars 1 goal and 6 shots, and Gaetan Duchesne of the North Stars still in the penalty box for 1 minute and 10 seconds.
North Star penalty killers now. Berzan, Gagne, Giles, and Wilkinson. Chicago on the power play as they grind it along. Gavin comes through and sends it into the Chicago zone. Greg Millen, who made 7 saves with 3 against in the 1 period he worked against the Stars Saturday night at the Met, starts it out. Bob Murray over the line for Savard and Murray, but they are offside as they come in with 51 seconds remaining in the power play for Chicago and 6:59 to go in the first period. North Stars leading 1-0.
Now, the one thing you don't want to do is to force the puck carrier with that puck to make him do something with it. At the same time, if you're the puck carrier and you're the last man back, you've got to get the puck head as quickly as possible, especially in the power play. But the Hawks just a little bit anxious here and coming over the blue line, creating the offside call. 51 seconds to go, and the penalty to Duchesne. 6:59 to go in the first period. Minnesota 1, the Blackhawks 0.
Little debris on the ice now as Perry Berzan points out to the linesman Wayne Bonney, and so we'll hold on for just a moment. The North Stars looking at a Chicago power play that includes Savard, Goulet, and Creighton up front with Bob Wilson and Doug Wilson, or Bob Murray rather, and Doug Wilson on the points. Bob Murray playing in his 100th career playoff game, more than any other player who has never been to a Stanley Cup final. And oddly, the number 2 mark for that also goes to a Hawk player. And that's Savard. Now back into the Chicago zone. 39 seconds remaining in the Blackhawk power play. Mark Tenorti just on, flips it down to the corner. There's Bob Murray, who's not played the last 2 games with a hip pointer for Chicago. Bob Murray comes out, slides it left for Wilson, drops it Goulet. In the middle, Larmer batted it down. And knocked out of the zone by Neil Broughton. With a look at the clock, which shows 18 seconds remaining in Duchesne's tripping penalty. Now Bob Murray for the Blackhawks. Starts it out the slot. Guns it ahead for Jeremy Roenick. 8 seconds, the Stars will be at full strength. They lead 1-0. Here's the chance to Brown. Little drizzler. Trouble. They jam it away, and Neil Broughton there. The penalty expires, and the North Stars are now at full strength. Duchesne out of the penalty box as Broughton plays it ahead to Bellows. Over the line for Chambers. John Chambers right through the goal crease and off. It looked like off the skate of Millen. Dazzle McRae with some good hustle beat Thomas to the puck. Now Siren ahead. That sails through a crowd, and as it goes behind the Chicago net, it'll be icing on the North Stars with 5:45 to go in the first period. Stars kill off the first Chicago power play, and after a little exchange of pleasantries, the score. The North Stars 1 and the Blackhawks nothing.
Now the face-off back into the North Star zone as the icing call will bring it to the left of goaltender John Casey. North Stars lead 1-0. 5:45 to go in period number 1. Perry Berezan will be my guest after period number 1, followed by an interview with Pierre Paget.
Berezan for the draw against Adam Creighton, but McRae and Thomas came nudging in too soon. Now linesman Wayne Bonney drops the puck, and it goes to the corner for Chicago's Wayne Presley. Presley wrapped up by Berezan. McRae dug it free. Bob Murphy guns one in and knocked away off the blocker of Casey. Now right in front, Thomas, but Murphy takes him off. McRae ahead for Shane Sherla at neutral. Sherla over the line, but Manson is there now for Chicago. Murphy turns it right back to wide open spaces. Bob Murray ahead for Chicago, but here is Giles. Now Larry Murphy for the North Stars. Sherla there, but it came over 2 lines, and that'll whistle the play dead. With 5:14 to go in the first period, 1-0 North Stars. Larry Murphy got the game-winning goal Saturday, and the North Stars 5-3 victory over the Blackhawks at Met Center. Quite a rousing game. The Stars led 5-1 until an uncomfortable 60 seconds there in the third period when the Hawks nailed a couple of goals.
The Blackhawks realize full well that Murphy is one of the keys to the North Star defense back there, the way he moves the puck. So whenever he gets the puck, they put 2 men in on him right away, trying to pressure him to giving up that puck and create some time where they can pick up the loose puck if he does make a mistake with it.
Dave Gagne with 5 playoff points already, including a power play goal. He has 2 goals and 3 assists in the playoffs, and he's centering Brian Bellows and Don Barber with now Wilkinson and Giles on defense. Barber squirts through, cutting to the circle, hits the break, and he got nailed right in the face by Keith Brown in a penalty.
Oh, boy.
He's coming in now. Bellows got drilled down in the corner, and he's getting up slowly.
Now, is it a major penalty or not? He is down on the ice right now, and the referee, Vandy Van Helman, talking as Keith Brown is the one who hit him. And there is blood there, so we'll see now, because if that's the case, if it's a high-sticking major penalty or slashing penalty, Brown will be out of this game, and that's a big plus for the North Stars.
Looked like we could see blood
He
there.
is signaling 5 minutes, so it will be a 5-minute major, and Brown is out of this game.
The Stars did not score during a 5-minute power play here in their last game. And Barber is going to go to the dressing room.
Yeah, that certainly hurts the Blackhawks because he's a key player for the Blackhawks, but all the players realize, and even though it's not intentional, it's still going to be a 5-minute major.
Here it is. Keith Brown, 5 minutes for high sticking and a game misconduct at 14:55.
5 for high sticking and a game misconduct to Keith Brown. As Tom said, they'll be hurting without him. Let's take a look at it.
You see, Barber made a good play right here, but watch the play right here. See, he was trying to hook back, but he got the stick up. He doesn't. That isn't the type of game that he plays by getting stick up. That was an accident. There's no question. But it's going to be costly to the Blackhawks. Now we'll see how the rest of the Blackhawks respond to that. Remember in one of the games that it was Tenorti and Musil that went out with injuries, and the other 4 defensemen had to come in and play very well. Now it's the Blackhawks' turn to see if they can play that way.
5-minute power play for the North Stars, who lead 1-0. They can score as often as they can in a 5-minuter, of course. Neil Broughton and Larry Murphy on the points. Bellows, McRae, and Madonna. Madonna shoots, hits the goal post. McRae couldn't get turned for the rebound. Now Bellows behind the net, checked by Wilson. And Bob Murray will whistle at the length of the ice.
That was a good play by Doug Wilson because he took Bellows out of the play and just allowed his teammate Murray to pick up the loose puck and shoot it down. But the North Stars hit the goal post once again.
4:23 to go on a major power play. Neil Broughton weaving through a crowd. Broughton now for Bellows is checked by Troy Murray. Basil McRae behind the net for Minnesota. McRae for Madonna on the power play. Neil Broughton shoots, deflected off the equipment of Troy Murray. McRae for Bellows. In for McRae, but it goes behind the net. Madonna will pick it up for Minnesota on the right boards. Fencing with Lemieux, who drags it away. Larry Murphy now on the long breakout from Casey. Will have to take a deep and draw Larmer right back with him. Now the veteran Larry Murphy has been through some amazing playoff games in Washington. Fired into the Chicago zone and played up into the crowd. Now 3 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the major penalty to Keith Brown. 3:46 to go in the first period. So the Stars will be on the power play all but the last 5 seconds of the period. It's 1-0 Minnesota. Oh, what a game Aaron Broughton had Saturday, huh? 3 assists.
No question. He came out of the weeds, I think, to pick up the points. The points in that game. He had a very strong game. Here's a shot coming from the left point position, right off of the post as Modano got the puck, came right back, and you can see as they're trying to put it away with McRae on the doorstep as well, could not juggle the puck enough to put it behind Greg Millen. Gagne, DeLeon, and Aaron Broughton with Wilkinson and Chambers now short-handed. Here's Larmer shooting, sticked away by Casey. Greg Gilbert over there for Chicago. 3.5 to go on the North Star power play. 3:35 in the period. 1-0 Minnesota leads on a power play goal. Larmer taken off it by Wilkinson, and they grind. Now Aaron Broughton shovels it for Gagne. Stars on the power play. Breaking for Chambers, but the play offside, or the pass offside, as they came back. It was the pass, and they'll face it off back at neutral ice. Well, everything was coming down on the right side of the ice, and Chambers, the left defenseman, just kind of squirted down there, trying to get into an opening. He was waiting for the pass from Gagne. He got it just a little bit too late. And so the offside call will bring the face-off on the Chicago side of the red line with 3:21 to go in the period. North Stars 1 goal on 7 shots. The Blackhawks have yet to put the puck in the net on 11 shots. Now the North Stars using Modano, Bellows, and McRae again. Again, Barber is off with an injury that caused this major high-sticking penalty to Brown. Neil Broughton and Murphy stay on the points. And Yanni guns it back to the Stars zone for Chicago. Larry Murphy now for Minnesota. Slides it away for Neil Broughton. 3 minutes on the power play. Modano down to the right corner. Snapped it for McRae. He's checked on the inboards by Jocelyn Lemieux. Mike Modano for Minnesota. Cross ice, a blast by Bellows, and a save by Greg Millen. Yanni now in the corner. McRae comes in to try and dig it away. Yanni, McRae, Lemieux, and Bellows all digging around over there. Poked by Modano. That got the puck free. Slid high by Bellows. Neil Broughton with 2:37 on the power play. Bellows right to the slot to Doug Wilson. He had no place to go there at that point because Yanni was right in on top of him. Wilson goes down, and the crowd screaming for a penalty, but Van Hellemond right behind the play will not whistle it on Neil Broughton. Now Neil Broughton is decked, and there will be a penalty, but this one will be on Chicago. And Sherla gets a stick from Manson. And McRae also goes over to have a word with Manson, but McRae and Sherla have pulled in the reins in the last few playoff games. Well, it's going to be Savard, I think, who's going to get it. Neil Broughton is arguing the call right now as he's been cut by the stick of Savard, and we're going to see if it's going to be a major penalty. He wants a major. Savard is... And now Neil Broughton is pleading his case, but the referee says, no, we're not giving him a major. That's a tough call to make on the part of the official. We'll try and pick it up once again. You'll see right here as Broughton gets the puck away. Now watch the stick right there as he brought it back over top. He hit Neil Broughton, and so the penalty comes at 17 minutes, 37 seconds. The North Stars with a 2-man advantage. He took my left eye out, man. Give him a major. It'll be a minor penalty to Savard at 17:37. So for 2 minutes, the Stars will have a 5-on-3 I think he's out of the game. I think it's going to be a major. We'll have to wait and see now.
The scoreboard shows a minor, but he might have. Well, we'll see. Savard wants to get at referee Andy Van Hellemond.
Now we got to wait and see what the call is going to be.
Oh, boy, without Savard. This should be interesting.
They have taken the 2 off of the board right now. Now we've got to see what they're going to put up.
Savard, look at the expression on Savard's face. Absolute hopelessness. He's out of the game.
Well, he's heading to the Chicago dressing room, but until we have the official call, we assume that is what happened.
It's a 5 minutes.
It's a 5.
He's out of the period anyway.
Boy, tough job for Andy Van Hellemond, but that's the right call. If Broughton got cut and Broughton pleaded his case, and I think in talking to linesmen, they agree that now the fans are starting to pepper the ice with debris all over the place, so we're going to have a little bit of a delay here.
Are we ever? The beer mugs are flying here. They're empty, of course, for the most part. Chicago fans not being one to waste a good glass of beer. Andy Van Hellemond We'll need a police escort to get out of here. Savard is gone for the period at least, which has 2:23 left in it.
Well, you can bet we're going to have a little bit of a delay.
Look at Casey. Casey is crouched inside the net. Now he's going to get up again.
I think
there was so much stuff sailing down there that Casey just crouched inside the net.
You know what's interesting? The referee went over to Basil McRae and said, have Casey go down by the bench instead of hiding in the net. Get him away from that,
yeah, it's a good
area over there.
Yeah, because some crackpot will do something to Casey. Now things have calmed down a little bit because the fans well know that down 2 men for 2:18. Here's Keenan exchanging readings or interpretations of the riot act with Andy Van Hellemond.
Well, the call's been made, and you know, Andy is no slouch to this game. His first NHL game was back on November the 22nd of '72. He has been in over close to 1,150 games. We'll pick up the infraction once again. As you watch, Broughton makes a play here. Comes behind the net, steps around Savard. Savard coming back, tries to hook him. And right here, he brings the stick up, and you see him hit the North Star centerman right above the left eye, and Savard knew that he was going to get the penalty, and look at the reaction as he goes off the ice. Here's the call.
Savard, 5 minutes for high sticking and a game misconduct.
He is out of the game. He is out of the game. A high sticking major and a game misconduct to Dennis Savard. Now, can the North Stars capitalize? They have a total of 7 minutes, 18 seconds in Blackhawk penalties on the clock. They'll have a 5-on-3 advantage for 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And 5-on-4 the rest of the time. Now 2 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first period. Minnesota 1, Chicago nothing. Mike Keenan now is without Keith Brown, one of his best defensemen, and is certainly his feistiest playmaker in Dennis Savard, who has 2 goals and 4 assists in the playoffs, including a power play goal. And Neil Broughton, we still really haven't had a good look at his, I think it was his left eye, but it must have been obvious enough to convince Andy Van Hellemond to ring up a high-sticking major and the game, which he has to do. On to Savard. 5-on-3 power play for 2:18. Here we go. Stars lead 1-0. All of this will be of no value whatever if they don't score, of course. Bellows for Gagne. Neil Broughton shoots one, deflected high, rebound to Leon. Snapped over the corner. Gagne, now to Leon. Here is Gagne. 2-man advantage for the North Stars. Both Brown and Savard are gone for the rest of the game. Here's Neil Broughton. Up high now to the circle. Bellows fakes, centers, blocked by Yanni. Bob Murray pulls it away. 1:45 left in the 2-man. Here's Gagne. That'll be all but the final 5 seconds of the period. 2-man advantage. Murphy. Gagne. Now Neil Broughton. Gagne there. Right up the gut. Deflection. Bellows shoots. Rebound twice. And 2 big saves by Greg Millen on Bellows and 3 on the play. Greg Millen. 2-2 in the series. He's been pulled 3 times. Makes some big saves. Look at this. The North Stars started up high. Gagne pumps it in. Saved by Millen. Now the open man is Bellows. He gets 1 shot, but look, it goes right back. Another backhander, but at that time the angle was so fine on the left side, Millen just sprawled. Neil set this one up well, and Gagne sees the opening. Right up the slot it goes. A sinking puck, but there it deflects. Knocked away. Here's the chance to Bellows. That was the one that was a good one, but he couldn't get it up over the sprawling Millen. And the rebound, as I mentioned, was right on the end line. And Greg Millen, who let in 3 on 10 shots on Saturday night and was pulled at the end of the period at Met Center with some big saves there. 1:36 left in the first period. 1-0 North Stars. 1:31 left and a 2-man advantage. 4:13 in total power play for the Stars after high-sticking majors plus game misconducts to both Keith Brown and then 2.5 minutes later to Dennis Savard. This is the 23rd time of the season the Hawks have been 2 men short. During that time, they've given up so far only 1 goal. So they've played 2 men short very well. Modano, now Murphy. Here's Modano who could use a goal. Murphy on the 5-on-3 power play. Modano centers, but off the skate of Larmer. Retrieved at the blue line by Murphy. Bellows, 1:11 in the 2-man. Here's Neil Broughton. Bellows kicks it up high. Larry Murphy there. Floating down the right wing. High for Neil Broughton. Shooting. It whistles wide and will wander out of the zone. Last minute of play of the first period. Two-man advantage for 54 seconds to Minnesota. Here is Larry Murphy in the corner now for Modano. Now Murphy. Brian Bellows. Neil Broughton. One times it for Murphy. In the circle. 41 seconds in the two-man advantage for Minnesota. Murphy. Here's a blast by Bellows, but no. Deflected again by Millen. And Conroy gets it out of the zone. Half a minute, the Hawks get a man back. 35 seconds, the period's over. Gagne shoots. Saved by Millen. And the puck drilled away by Greg Gilbert. Larry Murphy for Minnesota. Now for Aaron Broughton. Crossing, shooting. Didn't get a lot of it, and it was deflected away and out of the zone. 20 seconds remaining in the first period. North Stars lead 1-0. 5-on-3 power play continues for 15 additional seconds. Then it's 5-on-4. Neil Broughton started this at the line, but watch the chance. This is Gagne. Went right to the backhand, and it started to cut to the left. There was no rebound try because Greg Gilbert was in great position to drill it away for Chicago. Oh, and Keenan with that long look at the clock. Tom Reed, by the way, is on his way down to the catacombs here at Chicago Stadium, where he'll be visiting with North Star Perry Berezan, who's on the ice now with Aaron Broughton, Ulf Dillian, Sean Chambers, and Neil Wilkinson. Live in the intermission. 11 seconds left in the two-man advantage, and the whistle blown as the puck smothered there. Fans want a penalty on Berezan, but nothing forthcoming from Van Helleman. Now 13 seconds left in the first period. Aaron Broughton with Dillian and Berezan. Wilkinson and Chambers. And the face-off coming to the right of the goal as Millen looks at it. North Stars hoping to get... Now look at Keenan. Trying to get the attention of Bob Murray, I think. No, Vianney. Now, if you can't wave at him or yell at him, whack the stick along the dasher. Aaron Broughton now ready for the draw. No takers. Larmer stands into the right of the goal as Millen looks at it. And Bob Murray will gun it all the way down, and that will kill off one part of the power play. Now 2 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the what is now 5-on-4 as the Stars gun it all the way down, and the period comes to a close. And Greg Millen was really pumped as he left the ice, and so is the Chicago Stadium crowd. The North Stars failing to convert on the 5-on-3 advantage, but still have 2 minutes, 37 seconds in which to get their 21% power play going when the second period comes along. Let's look at our FINA scoreboard at the end of the first period of play. The score, the Minnesota...
They came back down to tied up 3 apiece, and now they're into game number 7 as well.
All right, it is 1-0 Minnesota. The North Stars with 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining on what is now their third power play of the night. It is now a 5-on-4 opportunity. And Don Barber, after getting patched up down in the dressing room, will be on for this opening power play shift here in the second period with Mike Modano and Brian Bellows, Larry Murphy and Neil Broughton as well. Veteran Bob Murray back after a couple games out with a hip pointer, as we mentioned. And we're underway with the second period. 1-0 the North Stars lead. Here's Modano on the power play for 2.5 minutes. This is the major to Savard being ticked off now. High-sticking majors and game misconducts in separate incidents to Keith Brown and Dennis Savard. So they're both caught. And a penalty is coming up on the North Stars.
Well, you can bet that is not what the North Stars want. That's what the Blackhawks are looking for when you have the advantage like that. But it's going to be Don Barber who's going to get the penalty for Minnesota. This will even things up. There's going to be a hooking call right by the penalty box in the Chicago side. You'll watch it here as Barber comes off right here and just pulls down his opponent, and the hooking call is going to go against Don Barber.
A soft hook, but anyway, they're going to call it on Barber at 22 seconds of the second period, and now the North Stars and Blackhawks Blackhawks will each be a man short for 2 minutes, and then the Stars will be back on the power play, but for a paltry 15 seconds, although you never know, that could do a lot of good. Exactly as Tom said, the opposite of what Pierre Paget wanted to have happen at the start of this period, because they've got to be thinking not only capitalize on the power play, but again, keep the Hawks off the board in the early minutes of the period. Dave Gagne directing traffic on the penalty kill crew for Minnesota. Gagne, Bellows, Siren, and Murphy. Shot was blocked, and Yanni is back out of neutral. 4-on-4 hockey, each team one man short. Yeah, this will be icing on Chicago or will it? Yeah, it will be, but it was a close thing. Larmer shakes off Siren and loses his helmet into the bargain.
Larmer coming back was trying to hook Siren, who was going for the puck. You'll watch the play right here, and they both got tangled up, and there's Siren very wisely touching the puck first. You can see the battle still going on here between the two combatants as the icing call is made, and then Larmer just kind of pushed Siren backwards onto the ice, and no penalty called on the play.
Now 39 seconds into the second period. Each team one man short for 1:43, and then back on the power play very briefly for the North Stars. It is 1-0 the Stars. The only goal so far, a power play goal by Don Barber, who tipped in a drive by Bellows, kind of a slow motion goal at 9:02 of the first, the 18th goal of the season and third of the playoffs for Don Barber, who came up from Kalamazoo in December and never went back. After seeing spot duty with the Stars last season, he really played his way into the lineup this year. Now the North Star quartet, Gagne and Bellows, Chambers and Tenorti. Creighton, Yanni, Wilson, and Roenick for Chicago. Face off in the Chicago zone. Bellows' center is broken up by Doug Wilson. Hawks come back 4-on-4. That whistles off the end boards. It comes to rest in the webbing behind the North Star net.
Well, we were just handed a note that Bobby Clark, the general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, was relieved of his duties effective immediately. Disagreements on the proper direction the team should take was cited as the reason.
I don't know the source of that report, but it has been handed to us here in the press box. We've heard it from a couple different sources here. We'll try to get a confirmation of that for you.
Apparently it came over the wire, according to people from the press box. So
it'll be interesting to see now, of course, what happens to Paul Holmgren. There have been a lot of questions. A great guy. Twin Cities area native, St. Pauler, of course, or St. Head coach of the Flyers, who missed the playoffs this year for the first time in many, many moons.
Little jostling going down in the face-off area with Troy Murray and Neil Broughton. That brings in Aaron Broughton on the face-off, along with Jocelyn Lemieux.
Now it comes off to Doug Wilson of Chicago. 90 seconds in the 4-on-4. Troy Murray lifts it in, and John Casey's there. Casey got checked behind the net. Tenorti threw a little pop on the culprit, who was Jocelyn Lemieux. Now out come the Stars, each team a man short. Chambers for Aaron Broughton, winding, shooting, and it whistles high. Neil Broughton is there to keep in the puck. He is checked by Troy Murray. Puck tossed out by Yanni. Chambers retrieves now for Giles. 1 minute, the Stars will get a man back and have a 15-second man advantage.
The key now is for the North Stars to control that puck, not just give it away, but control as long as they possibly can and take advantage of the mistakes that Chicago may make.
Into the North Star zone it goes, and Casey is there. You figure that in an average hockey game, a player who plays a lot is going to have the puck on his stick maybe 35, 40 seconds per game. Then every time you touch the puck really becomes significant in Game 7 of a playoff series. Here's Manson with a drive right on, and Casey makes the stop. Now 26 seconds left in the North Star penalty to Barber. 18:04 to go in the second. Still 1-0 the Stars.
The one thing the North Stars have to do is try to pick up that next goal, because it would be very easy for Chicago to almost lay down saying, well, we've lost two of our key players in this, so we have an excuse for losing. When you give players an excuse sometimes so often, they will take advantage of it. And they don't want to. Mike Keenan realizes that as you watch the big hit on Roenick, as Wilkinson stepping into him as well. And then Berezan grabbing onto the stick of Roenick, trying to pull him back just momentarily. Face off on the save by Casey will come to the right of the goaltender as he is able to see that puck coming all the way by Manson as he took the shot from the left point position.
Gagne, Bellows, Bellows, Siren, and Murphy for Minnesota. Creighton, Presley, Yanni, and Wilson for Chicago. 4-on-4 hockey for 17 seconds. No icing here. Greg Millen will serve it back up for Chicago to center. Gagne there. 8 seconds away from a brief North Star man advantage. Gagne tapped it back. Doug Wilson was there. He'll have to hang on to get Creighton onside. Now the North Stars get a man back. It's a 15-second Minnesota power play. This will be number 4 on the night. Here they come with a man advantage for 7 seconds. Right in front for Gagne, but that popped away. Barber for Chambers, and now the Blackhawks are at full strength. Sutter now at the line for Greg Gilbert. Sutter checked off it by Barber. Bob Murray. Oh, took a crazy bounce and right in front of the net. Murphy picked it up. Whoa, baby. Casey now for Bellows, but Sutter breaks it up. Centering, a shot is scored. Casey is furious. Wayne Presley has tied the game at the 3-minute mark with his 4th playoff goal and 10th of the year, and it's a 1-1 game.
Doug, you can see that play coming. Minnesota in their own zone was not handling the puck at all. Washoe comes off the boards here first of all. Then they had good possession of it. They didn't make a good pass. It's back in the zone again. Watch Presley as he comes into the goaltender right here. He gets just a piece of Casey to take him off balance. But Casey looked like he got a piece of the puck, but put it right on the stick of Presley, who took advantage of the Minnesota mistake and put it in the corner. And the Blackhawks have tied it up at 1 apiece. The goal exactly 3 minutes of the second period.
Presley has now scored 40% of his goals this season in the playoffs. Jeremy Roenick comes right back. 1-1 game. Here's Giles. Aaron Broughton trying to catch up. Now Larmer will pick it up at neutral. Rips it ahead. Too hard for Roenick, who would have a great 1-0 breakaway chance had he got a softer pass. Aaron Broughton then chops the puck. There's Steve Thomas for Chicago. Shoots one. It goes high and wide. Conroy lets it in. Wilkinson plays it out, and the Hawks will chase back to their own end.
Doug, right now the North Stars not controlling anything out here. They're just shooting the puck away in desperation as they're trying to slow down the Blackhawks.
It's on Duchesne. Got his pocket picked by Steve Thomas. He shoots one, and Casey makes the save. Thomas out of the corner now. Berezan and Creighton will grind on the end boards. Creighton with Berezan all over him. Right to the goal crease. Casey down to score. It's Presley again. Wayne Presley with 2 straight goals for the Chicago Blackhawks in a span of 1 minute and 6 seconds. It's 2-1 the Hawks.
Well, that fires up the Hawks. There's no question. And that young fellow right there, Wayne Presley, has given the Blackhawks both of the goals in this period. 2 quick goals. They have responded to the fact that Savard and also Keith Brown were taken out of this game on major penalties. And look at there, all by himself as he makes the turn. Berezan trying to control Creighton. And you see Murphy moving over there. And that left Presley all by himself. Will put it up high over top of John Casey. And the Blackhawks come alive in this period. They lead 2-1 on Presley's 2nd goal of this hockey game and 5th goal of the playoffs. Now a timeout has been called, and I assume it would be by the North Stars to try to slow things down a little bit on the part of the Blackhawks.
2 goals, 1 minute and 6 seconds apart by Wayne Presley of the Blackhawks.
Well, nobody said the North Stars are going to be in front the whole game. They were in front, but they still have a lot of time remaining in this hockey game with 15:54 to go on the time clock right now. The Blackhawks have had 6 shots on net in this period. They've responded with 2 goals. Here's Presley's first goal. As we watch it once again, Sutter gets the puck out in front to Presley, who puts it away, and that tied the game up at 1 apiece.
His 4th of the playoffs, scored by number 17, Wayne
That's the first goal they're
Presley.
announcing there. That happened in 3 minutes. Sutter will get an assist on that one. That tied the game at 1 at 3 minutes, and then Presley came right back and got another one at 4:06, just a minute and 6 seconds later. And now we'll have the Presley with 15:44 to go in the second period, and a big explosion back by Wayne Presley. And the North Stars will have to dig in and start over again now, but there's plenty of time left in the regular season to do that.
Well, Creighton and Thomas will pick up the assist on that goal, the second goal by Presley at 4:06. North Stars have got to regain their composure out here. Played well in the first period, but coming out early in the second period, giving up the 2 goals.
Now McRae for the draw at neutral against Adam Creighton. Marizan pulls it back. Chambers up through a crowd, and the Stars need to get control of that puck. Here is Miller. The serve it up for Dave Bassett against Savard and Brown are both gone for the game. Here comes Wayne Presley for Thomas at the line. Chambers turns it back. McRae bumped by Thomas. Creighton now for Chicago. A drive right on by Presley. And the save by Casey. He's still out there. Here's Chambers. He's actually out again. It just seems like it's been a while. And the Hawks turn it right back. Thomas. So Keenan going right back with his line again, as long as it's making things happen. And Giles will pick it up for Minnesota. Kurt Giles for the Stars. Murray now for Chicago, crossing the line. Gilbert shoots, blocked by Giles. Here comes Dave Gagne. The Stars now trail 2-1. Gagne through center circle, got away from Wilson. Gagne shoots, and a save by Miller. With 14:34 to go in the second period. Now Gagne being roughly handled by Troy Murray with a side headlock. Lemieux and Bellows blocked up, and then Tenorti goes in to help that situation out a little bit. And Tenorti still barking away. Apparently that's all that will come of that. Back in a moment.
From Wilson, as he comes over the blue line, he's got some other people he's got to contend with right there, as they are trying to work with Greg Millen as closely as possible, as Gagne coming in there, but he's pretty well manhandled as he takes the brunt of some hits back in front of that Chicago net.
Wayne Presley with 2 goals, a minute 6 seconds apart, nowhere near the Chicago record for fastest 2 goals by a player in a playoff game. That was 18 seconds apart. Dick Redmond did the job in 1973 against the St. Louis Blues. Here's Gagne shooting through a screen. Deflected wide. Barber now for the North Stars. That pops up and high. I'm not quite sure where it is. Neither were Wilson and Barber. Now it's down there somewhere as they grind it to a stop. And meanwhile, Dave Gagne and Jocelyn Lemieux. Now Lemieux takes a little pop at Tenorti, who comes down to help Gagne. Gilbert and Wilkinson lock up. Gilbert with a stick down. Wilkinson, here we go. The gloves down. Gilbert and Wilkinson. But the linesman Wayne Bonney is in to break it up before anything happens. Gagne now trading insults with Troy Murray.
Well, that's what Chicago wants to do. They're trying to talk their game right now as Wilkinson and goes to the penalty box, and also Gilbert. Chicago goes.
Tenorti and Lemieux are still working on each other down there. I don't know why a linesman isn't down with them. They're the ones who are going at it to start with. Oops, here comes Tenorti. He does a little hook in to Lemieux. Jocelyn Lemieux, who did not play Saturday night, has a thigh injury of some kind. They asked him what it was in the paper. He said, I have compartment syndrome. I have no idea what it is, but that's what I have. It's a mystery. We're trying to get any injury statement, much less a truthful one, in the playoffs. You may as well forget it. Gagne and Wilkinson in for the North Stars. Gilbert and Troy Murray in for Chicago at 5:45 of the second period, as the tempers have flared and the Blackhawks have taken a 2-1 lead on 2 goals by Wayne Presley. There's some roughing penalties and maybe a sticking one or two in there as well.
Well, you're talking about the fastest 2 goals for the Blackhawks. The fastest 2 goals against the North Stars during the regular season was 7 seconds. Don McKinney and Frank St. Marseille back in St. Louis on January 24th. 1968.
It is a 2-1 game. The Blackhawks have taken the lead. Gagne, Wilkinson, Gilbert, and Troy Murray all in the penalty box after that little altercation at 5:45 of the second period. Now the puck comes back into the zone, and Roenick got decked. I didn't see what happened to him, though. Chambers behind the net for Minnesota. Starts it back out along the near boards. Aaron Broughton is there. Larmer pops it away. Here's Larmer back in his own zone. Larmer out to neutral. Over the line, Lemieux. Now poke back. In for Roenick. Broke it up Tenorti. Roenick got turned, and Tenorti nailed it. And stands over it. Now Tenorti in the corner with Roenick. Puck is in the North Star zone. Pulled out by Sean Chambers. Aaron Broughton for Minnesota. Comes back and fires it into the Chicago zone. Sutter down. Checked off it by Gavin. The 2-12's at it in the corner. Neil Broughton comes up with it. Centers. Played off the board. Giles shoots one right to the pad of Millen. Adam Creighton pulls it back out for Chicago. Creighton angling through neutral. A stick deke, and they were offside as he came over the line. 13-13 to go in period number 2. Now it's the Blackhawks, 2-1.
Blackhawks seem to be in control of this hockey game. They've outshot the North Stars just by 19-17, but they lead 2-1, including the 2 goals there in the second period. What's happening, Doug, is you watch it here. The North Stars are not responding by getting into those openings to receive a pass. And as a result, the puck carrier has to do pretty well all the work right now because Chicago is just getting in front of the guys who could get a pass and blocking off any avenues that puck may take.
2-1 the Hawks. Stars' only goal coming at 9:02 in the first period on a power play tip by Don Barber. Shot by Bellows. Here's Gaetan Duchesne. A high floater off the board. But Doug Wilson picks it up for Chicago. Loose puck broken up by DeLeon. Now Madonna with a little swing down the boards. Popped it for Duchesne. Madonna fires high. Puck batted by Wilson. Oh, and Creighton played it. And gets it out to center. Popped away from Goulet by Murphy. And Casey will serve it up back there for Larry Murphy. Now Mike Madonna rips it right point. Oh, and Murphy got drilled by Jocelyn Lemieux. Or Madonna, rather, got drilled by Jocelyn Lemieux. Madonna really got nailed. Here's Thomas coming out now for Chicago. Steve Thomas almost pushed his own man offside. Hansen brings it back with 8 minutes just about gone in the second period. 2-1 Blackhawks. Presley with 2 goals, a minute 6 seconds apart on the puck. Now Lemieux. Here's Steve Thomas in the corner, right through the goal crease. Shane Sherla for Minnesota taps it away. Here's Perry Berezan for the Stars, drilled by Hansen in front of the North Star bench. Presley snaps it, but McRae flies into Presley, and the puck sails out of play. Now Chambers bumping with Jeremy Roenick, and Sherla came over and got Roenick from behind. Now Thomas and Sherla, and Sherla decapitates Thomas, or de-helmets him anyway. Sherla swinging around for all comers. Presley wanting a little piece of him.
You notice Thomas went right away from Sherla.
Yeah.
But we've got, this game is going to turn into a real physical battle all the way through. There's no way either one of these teams are going to let up.
Well, both sides broken up now. Chambers shoves Thomas away. And that apparently will be the end of that.
Well, those last penalties, Gilbert and Wilkinson have both picked up unsportsmanlike penalties. And also Troy Murray and Gagne picked up 10-minute misconduct penalties. So now we've got additional penalties being called at 8:10.
Now Chambers going in with, or Sherla rather, going in with Thomas. We'll be right back. It's 2-1 Chicago. Down there in those small penalty boxes.
Well, McRae and Sherla for the North Stars have gone into the penalty box, as well as Presley and Thomas for Chicago. These penalties coming at 8:10 of the period, with the Blackhawks leading by a score of 2-1.
Take a look at how it started.
You can see McRae going in right there, and there's a little shot. Now watch. You can see Presley laughing at McRae right now. And what he's trying to do is draw him into a penalty. And you can see Yanni coming in there, and now the little cross check in from behind by Presley, and McRae comes right back at him. We'll wait to see what the penalties are going to be called. Chambers also has a penalty, and that may be the difference as the referee Andy Van Helmen has doled things out.
I think you're right. McCray, Sherla, and Chambers from Minnesota. Here they are. Let's take a listen.
Number 17, Basil McCray, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 26, Sean Chambers, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 27, Shane Sherla, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Blackhawk penalties, number 17, Wayne Presley, 2 minutes for roughing. Blackhawk penalty number 32, Steve Thomas, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct at 8:10.
Well, there they are. Thomas and Presley for Chicago. Minors each. Thomas for unsportsmanlike, Presley for roughing. McCray, Sherla, Chambers for Minnesota. Sherla and Chambers unsportsmanlike, McCray roughing. It'll be Chambers unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that will be ticking off here. And so Chicago will get the power play for 2 minutes. This is the second power play of the night for Chicago. Ahead now, here's Stuart Gavin for Minnesota. Perry Barazan, centered, goes behind the net. Gavin and Adam Creighton. Now Barazan shorthanded. Here's Stu Gavin, but he couldn't hang on to the puck. And Steve Larmer pulled it away. Larmer now back out for Chicago on the power play. Rodick forced deep by Tenorti, and he could not fire. Wilson at the point. Now Bob Murray. Shoot one, screen, saved by Casey. Rodick. Here is Larmer behind the net. 1:04 on the Chicago power play remaining. 2-1 the Hawks lead. Coming up on the halfway mark of the second. Bob Murray, goodbye. That took off immediately. Wasn't deflected by anybody. He just launched it. I guess it was tipped as it came off.
It was deflected by, it was Gavin coming over on that side as he took the shot, got the stick in front of it, and puck just deflected up high over top of the glass and get the stoppage of play. Our Stars a little hesitant in killing off this penalty as well. Gavin had a chance to pick up the puck earlier, but just kind of held his position a little bit, and that allowed Chicago once again to gain control. 58 seconds on the penalty to Sean Chambers. 10:48 to go in period number 2. The Blackhawks lead by 1.
Now the North Star penalty kill unit is Bellows, Duchesne, Wilkinson, and Tenorti. And Mike Keenan's power play crew for the Chicago Blackhawks. Larmer on with Goulet and Lemieux, Bob Murray, and Doug Wilson. Face off inside the North Star zone, Duchesne and Larmer. Larmer kicked the puck to Bob Murray. That filtered right down on to John Casey. He'll wisely cover that one up. The shot the North Stars scored on wasn't any faster than that one either. The velocity doesn't necessarily make a lot of difference sometimes.
Well, John Casey not taking any chances there as he just dropped down on top of that puck. And what he wants to do, obviously, is to get a little bit of a rest for some of his players that are on the ice right now killing off those penalties, including Mark Tenorti, the big defenseman for the North Stars.
Now Stu Gavin is back on, and Gavin leads this team in shorthanded goals with 3. He had 2 assists on Saturday as well. And the North Stars 5-3 win at Met Center, which forced this series to Game 7 tonight here at Chicago Stadium. Gavin, Barazan, Tenorti, and Wilkinson. Here's Mark Tenorti. 48 seconds in the Hawkman advantage. Rolled away behind the net by Goulet, but he couldn't get around to get control of it. And it's whacked out of the zone on a long carom snap by Wilkinson. Doug Wilson now for Chicago. Power play for 32 seconds for the Chicago Blackhawks. Casey plays it behind the net. Tenorti can take all of that, and Gavin will trim it clear. Now Barazan facing the puck shorthanded. Wilson and Barazan locked up. Bob Murray will pick it up. 15 seconds, the Stars will be in full strength. Murray over the line. Goulet shoots, tipped by Giles. Oh, that went clear up into the second deck. For a souvenir, exactly at the halfway mark of the second period, and 10 seconds remaining in the Hawk power play. It's 2-1 Chicago.
Well, 2 veterans going against each other in the playoffs as Goulet was coming down on Giles. Goulet was playing his 70th playoff game, but Giles a little more experienced with 87 playoff games right now. Giles just moving over, and Goulet not very happy with himself as he thought he'd get the shot away a little bit quicker, but just sometimes where the smarts come in as well as Giles just played it perfectly to deflect that puck over top.
In the second intermission tonight, Channel 9 Primetime News with Rod Grams and Maureen Reeder. 10 minutes exactly to go in the second. Hawks 2, North Stars 1. 10 seconds left on the Chicago power play. Game 7 of the North Division semifinal series. The winner goes to take the St. Louis Blues. It'll either be the North Stars at St. Louis or the Blues at Chicago on Wednesday to open that series. With Tom Reed, this is Doug McLeod on Channel 9. And here's Greg Millen in his own zone. That's the end of the power play. North Stars are back at full strength, and the Hawks are 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Dave Manson for Chicago. Up to the line. Sutter swings it ahead, but Giles pops it back. Brent Yanni. Spinning puck. Yanni and Neil Broughton go to the corner boards. Bellows floats in too. Sutter gets there. Whoops, there's the puck. Poked by Bellows. Here's Aaron Broughton. Teams again are back at full strength. Always news in a series like this. Here's Bellows right in front, but no. Neil Broughton in the right circle. Kicks it up high. Tudorny with a drive. Blocked by Sutter. Now Lemieux for Chicago. Neil Broughton hanging on, but Lemieux pops it all the way down. There's no icing. Chambers chops it back. Tudorny there, trying to get it out. Kept in at the line by Chicago. Gilbert fell and could not play the puck. Larmer for the Hawks. Now in the corner to Greg Gilbert. Gilbert right at the end line. A poke check by Casey broke it up. Bellows for Madonna. Slicing it right for Aaron Broughton. That was deflected coming in off Doug Wilson. Stars want to change. Madonna goes sailing into the end boards against Conroy. Now DeLeon there. Here's Duchesne. Also Leon to the side of the net. Cut off by Goulet. Conroy on the end board. Whacked out by DeLeon. Also Leon is there. Trying to pull it away. Here comes. Gets on Duchesne. Into the slot. He's checked off it by Wilson, and Roenick drilled it away. Could be icing on Chicago as Billy Sterin picks up the puck. That will stop the clock with 8:22 to go in the second period. It's the Blackhawks 2 and the North Stars 1.
The stadium, and the score in Edmonton right now in the first period. Edmonton and Winnipeg tied up at 1 apiece. That's in the first period. Anderson scoring for Edmonton and Steen scoring for Winnipeg.
8:22 to go in the second. North Stars trailing 2-1. Teams in full strength. And from the draw, here's Dave Manson for Chicago. Out of his zone for Steve Thomas. The Hawks come to center. Thomas bumped by Murphy, still on the puck. Here's Perry Berezan. Took it back. Angled ahead for Stuart Gavin. Poked back by Manson, but a shot by Barber right on and a save by Millen. Gavin came sailing in, but there was no rebound as Millen went down and pulled it down between the pads.
Millen was going the opposite way, and all of a sudden the puck bounced back the other way as we look at it once again. And Greg Millen not taking any chances either, as John Casey we see at the other end grab onto those pucks as well. Here's a shot coming from Barber from the left wing position. Hit him in the pad, came back the other way, but he's still able to get there as Stuart Gavin was standing on the doorstep waiting for a loose puck, but none to be had. 7:59 to go, period number 2. Blackhawks 2 goals, 21 shots. The North Stars 1 goal on 18 shots. But in this game, the big thing in this game is the fact that Chicago's lost 2 key players in the likes of Keith Brown and Dennis Savard, who have both been ejected for major high-sticking penalties, which get an automatic game misconduct penalty as well.
See if after all that surgery, the Stars can take advantage. Now Sterin, a drive, save by Millen. Here's a shot by Murphy through a screen that goes wide. Poked by Sterin, and he collided down there with Presley. Loose puck, straight, Murphy, falling, knocked it away. Creighton centers anyway. Puck fly. Here is Berezan in the slot, and he'll play it back out for the Stars. Bob Murray there. And he'll smack it around the glass. Jeremy Roenick away from Murphy. Roenick behind the net. Berezan is on him. Now Berezan's off, and here's Roenick. Right in front of the net and through the front door, and it did not go. A poke by Roenick, shot saved by Casey. Berezan score. Blackhawks score in a pile of bodies. Michel Goulet down on his knees in front of John Casey. And it is 3-1 Chicago at 12:41 of the second period.
Doug, the North Stars in this period have not played with any authority. They're giving up the puck. They're giving up those chances. And John Casey can't do it by himself. You watch right here. Now watch in front of the net. There's only one defenseman back, and he's down holding on to Goulet's stick. Finally, the North Stars get it back. Lose the puck again. Perry Berezan trying to beat that last man, and Roenick just staying on the doorstep. It's over the line. It's in the net, and the Blackhawks lead by 2 right now.
Goulet who poked it, I think. Let's take a look. There's Roenick. Now Goulet's at the top of your picture. There's the tap.
Well, regardless of who gets it, for the North Stars are down by 2. They've got to pick up the pace.
You saw Goulet stick under Casey's pad, so you couldn't quite tell. Roenick or Goulet, you're right. It sure doesn't matter at this point. It is 3-1. The next goal must be for the North Stars. Jocelyn Lemieux out for Sutter for Chicago. He'll pop it in. Now Casey stops it behind the net. Bert Giles for the North Stars. Head deke on Gilbert, who's right in front of Casey. Wilkinson whistles it back, and they'll ice the puck.
Now, this is typical what's happening now. Minnesota not controlling anything. They've got Neil Broughton, who's way beyond the red line. He can't take a pass from that position. Defensemen have no place to go with it, and they're just playing scrambly hockey right now.
3-1 the Blackhawks with 6:40 to go in period 2.
Is
Goulet at 12:41 from Roenick and Presley to give the Blackhawks a 3-1 lead over the North Stars. 6:40 to go, period number 2.
I tell you, Goulet went from the doghouse and got out of it in a hurry. Mike Keenan at the start of this series had benched him. He wasn't happy with the way he had been playing. Now he's come back and has been a force and has 2 playoff goals. Now Neil Broughton starts the Stars back. A center, but Fellows is beaten to it by Presley. Here comes Adam Creighton back out for the Chicago Blackhawks. Creighton over the line. Flips it for Thomas. The drive high and wide. Steve Conroy for Chicago. Checked by Aaron Broughton. Creighton now taken off to the corner by Tenorti. Aaron Broughton as Roenick went down. No penalty. Aaron Broughton's outlet pass hits Steve Thomas. And he shoots and a save by Casey. Now behind the net. Larmer there. Centering. A chance to Roenick and score. And it's just falling apart. And the North Stars here in the second period. It's 4-1 Chicago.
And that's the rookie for Chicago scoring the 4th goal for the Blackhawks. All of them in this period. As Doug mentioned, he makes it 4-1. Untouched once again, about 20 feet out in front of goaltender John Casey. And you'll pick up the play as Roenick scores for the Blackhawks, as we said, scoring his 4th goal of the playoffs. Watch right here. Once again, control. Minnesota lost it right here. Chambers overskated it. And Roenick puts it up over top of the right shoulder of Casey. And they have taken the lead. Larmer will pick up the assist on the play. We'll see if there's an additional assist as well, as John Casey had no chance. The time of that one, 14 minutes and 6 seconds.
30th goal of the season for the Blackhawk rookie, Jeremy Roenick. The only rookie in their lineup. And as Tommy said, his 4th playoff goal. Now 4-1 Blackhawks. Here it is in the Minnesota zone. Casey for Neil Wilkinson behind the net. Wilkinson starting back out. Off right back to neutral. Now Gilbert. Steve Larmer. Offside as they come in over the line. 5:24 to go in the second period. Hawks 4, the North Stars 1.
Berzan hit the nail on the head when he said at the end of the first period that the North Stars have got to do something on the major penalties that were called against Chicago. They're unable to capitalize in those situations as they had 2 major penalties called against the Blackhawks. Both high sticking, one at 14:55, one at 17:37, but the Blackhawks are the one that's been all Chicago's period number 2, as they have scored 4 goals to lead 4-1.
Roenick from Larmer and Thomas at 14:06 of the second period. Stars down by 3. No icing here. Greg Millen, the Chicago goalie, will go after it. 15-5 Chicago in shots on goal in this period. And they'll stop the play now with 5:05 to go in the second period. Get a new puck. Frustration showing on the face of Pierre Paget, whose team came out and ran up a 1-0 lead at the end of the period. But the Hawks have come out storming here in the second after, as Tom mentioned, killing off all the way through in those 5-minute majors, and without Savard and without Brown, have gone to the well and come up with Wayne Presley and Michel Goulet and Jeremy Roenick.
You can see the emotion right now on Pierre Paget as he's talking to his defenseman back there, Chambers and Tenorti at the end, trying to get the guys on track here a little bit. They've had a bad second period, and no one knows it more than the players do themselves. Kind of a contrast in appearances there as the fans behind with big smiles on their face, but none on the North Star bench.
Wilson's shot hit Giles. Kurt Giles turns it back for Minnesota, pulling away from Gilbert. Giles ahead over the line. Here's Kurt Giles, but the Stars were offside.
This is what I talked about moments ago. The fact that the North Star players with the puck are trying to do all the work. They don't have the openings to go to anyone, so they're trying to carry the puck themselves, and they're putting themselves in positions where they can't get things untracked. And the perfect example is Kurt Giles right there. No place to go with it. Offside call on the far side.
4:52 to go in the second. Now 4-1. The Blackhawks lead. Channel 9 primetime news with Rod Grams and Marine Reader coming up in the second intermission here tonight. Mike Keenan a lot more satisfied with the second period than with the first. Madonna, Barber, and Bellows on for Minnesota with Giles and Wilkinson. Lemieux bumping with Giles. Now Barber there. Snaps it for Wilkinson. Neil Wilkinson up to the crowd. Close to the line. Larmer jams it back out again. The Stars will chase. Will there be icing? Yes, as Giles picks it up. 4:33 to go in period 2. It's the Blackhawks 4-1. The Blackhawks have pretty much owned the period. Presley at 3 minutes, again at 4:06. Goulet at 12:41. Roenick at 14:06. So they've got those goals in little 2-goal clusters here in the second period so far.
Well, Mark Lamb has scored for Edmonton for the Oilers to take a 2-1 lead now over Winnipeg in the first period at Edmonton. I'd like to know what that coach said to his players after period number 1, after they lost 2 of their key players, because they have come out storming in this second period. Blackhawks have had 15 shots on net in this period compared to 5 by the North Stars.
Neal and Aaron Broughton and Shane Sherla. There's a line for you with Chambers and Tenardi. North Star quintet now. Here's Yanni. Armored checked by Tenardi. Puck stays alive in the Hawk zone. Neal Broughton there shoots one off the pad. And it'll whistle all the way back into the Chicago zone. Or the North Star zone, rather. Chambers out to neutral. Sherla chopped over the line by Aaron Broughton. Sherla goes to the corner. Now Aaron Broughton behind the net. Whipped away one-handed by Manson. And the puck comes to center. Sherla taps it for Sean Chambers. That hit Creighton. Chambers now for Minnesota. Aaron Broughton. Pass too far for Neal, and the Stars going for a line change. Johnny down there stepped out of the check of Sherla. Outlet pass kept alive by Gaetan Duchesne. Manson trying to clear it, and it is finally batted down to neutral by Sherla. Millen now for Manson behind the net in the Chicago zone. Here comes Presley with those 2 quick goals for Chicago that really ignited the Hawk resurgence here early in this period. Giles turns it back for the Stars for Gaetan Duchesne. Duchesne drop pass. Shot by DeLee and hit Duchesne. Now McRae centers Duchesne. Smothered. Presley gets it out. Tenardi whips it back. Stars won't be able to play it. It'll be offside. And the offside whistle is finally blown with 3:09 to go in the second period. Chicago 4, Minnesota 1. And the rally begun by Wayne Presley with his 10th and 11th goals of the year and 4th and 5th of the playoffs. 1 minute 6 seconds apart early in the second period. So the North Stars will have some work to do in the second intermission here. They are now 23 minutes and 9 seconds away from the end of the season unless they can get control of this hockey game. 4-1 Blackhawks. And in the neutral zone, it'll be the face-off for Mike Madonna and Troy Murray. Madonna, Barber, and Bellows. Tenardi and Chambers. Hawks play it into the Stars zone. Casey serves it up for Chambers. Away for Don Barber. His outlet pass to a Hawk player. And the Stars passing has been going right into Chicago bodies here. Lemieux and Bellows bump at the blue line. Tenardi plays it away. Here is Doug Wilson for Chicago. Casey stopped it behind the net. It squirts right in front. And Troy Murray almost had a freebie. Now Barber. Chambers ahead. Madonna will chase. Mike Madonna cutting right in. Shoot, save, rebound. Is under Bob Murray. He throws it to the corner. And the Hawks can play it. Oh, man. Presley back now for the Hawks. Off the boards for Creighton. 2:17 in the period. 4-1 Blackhawks. They dig in the North Star zone. Wilkinson, but Thomas broke free. Now Giles behind the net for Minnesota. Kurt Giles starts it ahead for Madonna off his skate. Here's Barber, 2:03 to go. He smacks one on, deflected by Millen. Right to Dave Gagne. Now Barber, good deep backhand shot, save. Aaron Broughton rebound, but no, saved by Millen, and they pile it up, and the whistle blows. Stars have had two good tries close in on to Greg Millen here late in the second period, but neither one is connected. Now 1:53 to go in the period. Still 4-1 Blackhawks, and Greg Millen standing in under a welter of North Star shots here late in the period.
Well, they made a change on the goal. The third goal scored at 12:41. The goal is going to go to Roenick, and the assist will go to Goulet and also to Larmer. And then the fourth goal at 14:06, so the goal will go to Roenick from Larmer and Thomas. As you look at Mike Modano coming in there making the play, but Bob Murray, the veteran defenseman, over 1,000 games in the NHL, was down right on top of the puck. And there's another chance right now by Barber as he takes that backhand shot. And look at the scramble come here, and Gagne with a good opportunity to try and get in there, but it was to be denied as the puck was underneath the pads of Greg Millen.
Again, it is Jeremy Roenick from Goulet and Larmer at 12:41. That's a change in the second goal. So 2 goals by Presley and 2 by Roenick. The fourth goal will stand as is, but the third one is the change. Now 1:41 left in the second period. Millen almost fanned on it. Now Larmer will pick it up for Chicago and bank it out to neutral. Fluttering puck is played by defenseman Dave Manson. Centered, broken up by Chambers. Now Tenorti for Minnesota. Slides it ahead. Stu Gavin is there. 1:22 in the period. Picked off and neutralized by Tenorti. Bangs one wide of the net. Millen flippers it to Bob Murray. Crunched by Gavin. Creighton will play it ahead. Larmer there. Manson is at neutral. Over the line and turns it to the Stars zone. The Hawks need a change. Jammed by Giles. Now Duchesne in the last minute of play of the period. Conroy was still in hot pursuit. They roll behind the net. Duchesne trying to keep it alive for the North Stars. Roenick pulls it away for Chicago. Just got his feet under him. 47 seconds of the period. Presley floats it in, and Giles picks it off. Here's Steve Conroy for Chicago. Turned back by Neil Wilkinson of the Stars. Tipped by DeLeon. Now Duchesne. 34 seconds of the period. Neil Broughton had his stick blocked as he cranked it by, I think, Roenick. Now Thomas ahead. Here's Roenick with 2 goals in this period. Off the skate of Neil Wilkinson. Thomas and Tenorti behind the North Star net. 21 seconds left in the second period. Presley. Now Tenorti for the Stars behind the net. Lost the puck. Thomas slippers it back. Here's Wilkinson. 10 seconds in the period. Wayne Sutter cuts it and fires. That's high, and Wilkinson got toppled with a check down in the corner. Puck comes out to center ice. Wilkinson getting up slowly. That's the end of a tumultuous second period, in which the Blackhawks came from a 1-0 deficit, being outshot 14-11, to score 4 big goals. A pair by Presley, and now a pair by Roenick on our Venus scoreboard. 40 minutes in the book. Shots on goal at 26-22 Chicago. In the period, it was 15-8 the Blackhawks. After the North Stars outshot the Hawks 14-11 and led 1-0 at the end of 1. And John Casey will have to stand in and keep the Hawks out from doing any further damage here. Greg Millen, who has had an up-and-down playoff series against the North Stars. There was a time when Millen owned the North Stars when he played with the Blues, but that has not been the case here. It has not been so much Millen as everything else that has kept the puck out for the Stars. Now underway with the third period. Goulet for Larmer, and the Hawks have the puck in the Stars zone. Giles throws a check. Roenick, who has 2 goals in that second period, checked by Wilkinson. Now it comes back out to neutral ice, and Larmer is there for Chicago. Launches one for Roenick. Backhand to the Stars zone. Here comes Neil Wilkinson ahead for Gavin. Stuart Gavin for the Stars, crossing the line. Knocked away by Troy Murray, but right to Larry Murphy. Gagne still way deep in the Chicago zone, so the Stars dump it in. Now Dave Manson for Chicago ahead for Troy Gilbert, or Greg Gilbert rather. He's Check by Madonna. Puck trimmed into the North Star zone. Casey for Tenorti behind the net. Mark Tenorti up for Don Barber. Turned back in by Greg Gilbert. Troy Murray smacked to the boards by Tenorti. Lemieux is over there checked by Murphy. They grind on the end boards in the North Star zone. And finally, referee Andy Van Hellemond will whistle the play dead. A minute 11 into the third period. Blackhawks leading Minnesota by a score of 4-1.
Doug Wilson took a stick right in the face area from Gavin as they came along the boards. It was accidental. There was no cut inflicted on it. Wilson went right to the Chicago bench, but no penalty was called on the play. Right now, Chicago is just going to dump the puck in. They're going to try to get a quick forechecker in there to press the North Stars, force them to stop the puck, to get a stoppage of play, force the North Stars to give it up. And right now, with a 3-goal lead as the Blackhawks have, they certainly are in the driver's seat.
In the playoffs, the Hawks are 2-0-0 when leading after 2 periods of play.
See the ice broken away to the right of goaltender John Casey.
North Stars are 0-3 when trailing after 2 periods and would very much like to turn that statistic around here in the next 18 minutes and 49 seconds. Every shift, every possession of the puck is key now.
Very quiet North Star bench right now.
Yes. Here's Don Barber. Brian Bellows goes to the corner for Minnesota. Checked by Manson, and Gilbert floats it out for Chicago. Jocelyn Lemieux is there. Casey taps it away behind the net. Here's Brian Bellows for Minnesota. Stars trailing 4-1, 18:25 to go in the game. Bellows checked by Wilson. Knocks the center right to Thomas, and it comes out of the zone. Here is Steve Thomas for Chicago. Shoots one, sticked away by Casey. Thomas again, falling on the end boards. Played up the left side, Adam Creighton. Bellows, Wilkinson, Creighton all go down. Presley with a drive that goes high. Onright chasing the fluttering puck back into the Chicago zone. And the Blackhawks come out. It's checked by Duchesne, and that puck caroms on into the penalty box to stop the game. 17:52 to go in somebody's season. It's the Hawks 4 and the North Stars 1.
North Stars, this time it's Coach Pierre Paget's turn to pull his goaltender, not because Casey's been bad, but because he's trying to get something going for the part of the North Stars. They came out of the first few minutes, a couple minutes of this third period with not a lot of life and enthusiasm, and I think this is Pierre's way of trying to instill some of that into his team right now. John Casey going out, he has played a total of 42 minutes and 8 seconds of the game. He has given up 4 goals on 26 shots.
Taco with an .859 saves percentage has not been a goalie of record in the playoffs so far. 4-12, 4.03. And as Tom mentioned, and a very good point, not because of Casey's play, but just got to change something. And that's the most obvious one to change. Taco is in for Casey at 2:08 of the third period. Kari Takos caroms the puck out to center for the North Stars. Of course, the Hawks now will want to test him right away. Here is Giles. Wilkinson for Minnesota. Now Ulf DeLeon. Back out for Duchesne. Over the line. Drop pass. Giles with a drive that hit Wilson. Neil Broughton charging in. Couldn't get a shot away. Now they play it on the end board. Here's DeLeon. Wrapped up by Roenick. Duchesne trying to spring free of Goulet. Neil Broughton for Minnesota. Bumped off it by Doug Wilson. Hawks trying to get out of the zone, but it stays alive. Here is Duchesne. Checked by Bob Murray. Goulet gets it out of the zone for Chicago. Neil Wilkinson from Taco. Tipped in the zone by Duchesne. Stars changing now. As the puck comes to the line, Larry Murphy whacks it in. A high puck. Berezan plays it down to the corner board. Troy Murray for Chicago. Bumped by McRae. Murphy's shot deflected by Lemieux. And the Blackhawks come back out. Troy Murray jams it around the boards. Berezan and Gilbert go down the left wing. Snap behind the net. Here's Mark Tenorti to chase a rolling puck in the dasher. Right onto the blade of Wayne Presley, who has 2 goals in the second period. Centering for Creighton, who got in behind but could not shoot. Creighton again now for Chicago. Spun around by Berezan and held. Puck poked by Presley. Finally just sitting there. But Creighton trying to pull away. Berezan still hanging on, and Creighton comes up with the puck again. Checked down by Berezan. Thomas for Chicago in the corner. Berezan, now Steve Thomas shoots a whistling shot wide. Doug Wilson tosses it in. Creighton and Berezan are both on the deck. Berezan with no stick. Now McRae unloads, doesn't get much on it. And Manson will pick it up for Chicago. Ahead for Steve Thomas. The Hawks come back out. Sing one to the corner. Taco swings it away. And out to neutral. 4.5 gone in the third. 4-1 Chicago. Here is Chambers for Minnesota for Gagne. Flippers it back. Stuart Gavin over the line. Gavin cutting right in. But it's blocked clear by Millen. Van Dorp. First shift, I think, of the game. Check Gagne. And it comes back out again. I do not remember seeing Van Dorp on in this game so far.
This is his first shift.
Kari Taco for Minnesota. Plays it up the far boards for Aaron Broughton. Now here's Gagne over the line, 2-on-2. Stuart Gavin shoots one right on, and a save by Millen. Wilson behind the net. Up for Steve Larmer. The Hawks come back out again. Larmer for Wayne Van Dorp. Down the left boards they go. Fires one on a fine angle to Taco. Knocked away to the corner, and Bellows picks it up. Van Dorp slammed right into Taco. Gave him one right back. Now Bellows pushed off it by Manson, the back checker. Wilson flings it behind the net. Wilkinson bumping with Van Dorp, and the puck sails to the Stars zone. Taco ahead for Tenorti. Conroy now for Chicago. Murphy turns it back. Here's Brian Bellows. Tenorti off the boards. Yanni is there for Chicago. Conroy for the Hawks. Steve Thomas chasing a loose puck into the North Star zone. Tenorti hustling over to pick it up. And icing is called on the Hawks. 14:05 to go in the third period. Chicago 4, North Stars 1.
3 minutes and 47 seconds, and he faced no shot. And John Casey is back in net right now.
14:05 to go in the third period. Chicago 4 and the North Stars 1.
I wonder if he's going to have another goaltending change that's going to take place.
Well, Kari can tell everybody he played shutout hockey in the playoffs. Here's DeLeon down to the corner. Now Duchesne for Minnesota. Checked by Bob Murray. Manson is there for Chicago. Hawks lead 4-1. Out past Lemieux. They turn it back in. Bob Murray, helmetless, snaps it away. Kept in by Chambers. Now Duchesne right in front. DeLeon shoots. A save by Millen. DeLeon decked as he went for the rebound. And here's Bob Murray again. Up for Lemieux. And back out to neutral ice. Stars regroup. Larry Murphy floats it in. Stars changing now. And it drizzles back into the North Star zone. Shane Sherla will pick it up for Minnesota. Here is Larry Murphy. Wilson will flatten it out and wing one back in again. And Casey will stop it back there. Murphy with Roenick closing in. Murphy on his knees ahead for Bellows. Brian Bellows unloads right on, off the blocker. Bellows gets the puck again. Fires it behind the net. That's Bob Murray's helmet it hit. It just put the brakes on the puck. Sherla snaps it back, but Roenick clears it away up the right boards. Neil Wilkinson for the Stars, shooting screen. Bellows going for the puck. Now here's Sherla, but he couldn't get it. And Larmer guns it in. Just no jump at all here. 12:35 to go. 4-1 the Hawks. Sherla sent down by Creighton. Now Neil Wilkinson for Minnesota. Flings one to the corner, and that hit Bob Murray's helmet. Won't be much left of that one. Gagne to the corner. Conroy pokes it. Aaron Broughton, a shot right on, and a save by Millen. Wilkinson keeps it alive at right point. Conroy to the end boards now for the Hawks. Gagne with a jab at it. Aaron Broughton swings it out of the corner. Here comes Stuart Gavin behind the net. Checked by Manson. Gavin springs free, but he dropped it right to Creighton. And the Hawks clear it back to the zone. John Casey back on again. Ahead for Wilkinson. As we mentioned, Casey came back on at 5:55. Van Dorp swings it in for Chicago. Sean Chambers now for Minnesota in his own zone. Batted out of the air by Madonna. The Yanni picks it up in his own end. Whacked at by Madonna. Wayne Van Dorp for Chicago. Unloads and off the stick of Casey. Here's Van Dorp. Now Sutter. But Chambers pulls it clear for the North Stars. Out to center. Wilson for Chicago. Brian Bellows. A loose puck there. Now Sutter over the line. Turned back by Casey. Sean Chambers to the line. Tip to neutral. Here is Sutter to turn it back in for Chicago. 11:07 in the third. 4-1 the Hawks. Duchesne. Manson picks it up for an icing call with 10:59 to go in the third period. And the Blackhawks leading the North Stars 4-1.
Well, the North Stars have their work cut out for them, that's for certain. In this period right now, they have not been able to put anything into the net. Even though they may control in the Chicago zone, they've got to get the goals, and they have not been able to do that as the Blackhawks continue to lead by a score of 4-1. The North Stars scored the only goal in the first period. It was all Chicago in the second period. They scored the last 4 goals.
10:59 to go. Now Neil Broughton is on for Minnesota with Julian and Duchesne. So Pierre shaking up lines a little bit more here in the third period. Larmer cutting down, shoots right in front, save Casey, rebound Goulet, no. Larmer reaching for it, no. Roenick's shot went over the bar. And here's Ulf Julian for Minnesota. Slides it ahead for Neil Broughton. Duchesne cutting it, took a little pop, and Millen's stick couldn't get the puck. And Steve Larmer will play it ahead for Chicago. Here's Wilkinson back in his own zone for the Blackhawks with 10:30 to go in the third. Neil Broughton ahead for DeLeon. Checked by Creighton. The 222s go on the inboards. Neil Broughton is there. Gets on Duchesne. Checked by Manson. Here's Larry Murphy, but he didn't get the puck. Manson now on the left boards. They knock it around. Here's Murphy. A center. Hit Yanni and right back to Murphy. Centering again. Right to the front door. DeLeon is there. Drive. He scores! DeLeon and Neil Broughton right on the lip of the goal crease. One in front and one to the side as Ulf DeLeon swung in the shot. And as we come to the halfway mark of the third, the Stars narrow the margin to 2.
Well, they're making it interesting as Murphy had the puck. He put it to Millen, and Millen mishandled it. Couldn't control it. Came right back to DeLeon, who was able to put it to the right of the goaltender. And the North Stars are trailed by 3. Now just trailed by 2. Lots of time remaining. With 10:02 to go, the time of the goal will be 9 minutes and 58 seconds of the third period.
It's Ulf DeLeon all the way. I wasn't sure for a moment whether Neil might have tipped it in, but you clearly saw there that he did not. Ulf DeLeon gets his first goal of the playoffs and his 21st of the season at 9:58 of the third. And it is now 4-2. Stars cannot let up here. Maybe that'll get things turned back Minnesota's way. Roenick down the right boards now for Chicago. He had 2 of the 4 Blackhawk goals in the second period. Presley had the other 2. Now Roenick. Here's Trent Yanni. The drive saved by Casey. And the rebound cleared out of the zone. Shot back in again by the Blackhawks. Larry Murphy behind the net in his own zone for Minnesota. Now Tenorti. Past Troy Murray. Bellows couldn't play it past Bob Murray, who's got that or another helmet. Bellows for the North Stars. Now trailing by 2. It is 4-2 Chicago. Past the halfway mark of the third. Chambers for the North Stars. We mentioned the Stars approaching it basically as a 3-0 deficit and trying to just chip away at it. Now Jocelyn Lemieux. Casey behind the net. Chambers for Minnesota. Ahead for Don Barber. A board pass that sails deep into Chicago territory. Yanni will turn it away for Thomas. Here is Kurt Giles back in his own zone for Minnesota. Giles and Siren, the North Star defenseman now. Neil Broughton is up front with Duchesne and Barber. Here's Steve Thomas for Chicago. A whistler wide. Presley pokes the puck to the corner. In comes Steve Thomas. Bumped off it by Wilkinson. Thomas right back on again. He can really take a lot of punishment. We've seen several times the Stars try and pry, bump, beat, churn, and knock him off the puck, and he keeps coming back. Now Duchesne back out, right up the gut, off the tip of the glove of Millen. Neil Broughton sails down after it, in for Alt DeLeon. DeLeon checked by Manson. DeLeon and Duchesne on Manson in the corner with Roenick. And Jeremy Roenick pulls the puck away for Chicago. And that will skitter back into the North Star zone. 8 minutes to go in the third. Stars down by 2. Here's Wilkinson ahead for Perry Berezan. Checked by Troy Murray. Michel Goulet slings it back in for Chicago. And Casey is there, but plays it right to Larmer. Here's Goulet shooting. Save by Casey. And McRae pulls it back for the North Stars. Perry Berezan down the left board. Splinters it behind the net. Millen there. McRae plows into Millen, and Millen loses his goalie stick. And the Hawks will freeze it along the inboards, and no damage done. He didn't lose it. It broke right to down the handle. Breaking the action now. 7.5 to go in the third period. Hawks 4, Stars 2.
And Casey able to kick out that left pad and make the save to put the puck off to the left of the goal. 7:30 to go. Period number 3. The Blackhawks 4, the North Stars 2.
Shots out, Stars out shooting the Hawks in this period. 6-4. 30-28, Blackhawks in shots on goal. Stat that counts. Hawks 4, Stars 2. Stars win the draw. Chambers shot deflected, and there's Greg Gilbert for Chicago. Tried to launch one for Jocelyn Lemieux. Casey misfired as he tried to play it, and so Lemieux had a chance, but he was plowed into by Chambers. Aaron Broughton right into Yanni's stomach. A loose puck, and it's cleared out by Troy Murray. Sean Chambers in his own zone for the North Stars. Now Larry Murphy. Here's Gagne, a blast screen save. Aaron Broughton plowed into Millen, but the puck comes out to center, and Gilbert fires it into the Minnesota zone. Kurt Giles for the North Stars. Loose puck. Thomas will keep it in. Giles is there again. Thomas in hot pursuit. And Giles snaps it out of the zone. Dave Manson fires it right back in for Chicago. Hawks content to just knock it around down there and grind off some time. Thomas in the neutral zone flings it in again. Here's Neil Wilkinson now for Minnesota. A banker that flipped away from Madonna. Manson turns it back out. Michel Goulet is there for Chicago. Rink wide pass to Larmer. Over the line to Jeremy Roenick with Goulet in the slot, and Roenick whistles one behind the net. Back to the Chicago end it goes. Wilson ahead for Goulet. They'll whistle the play down with 6:07 to go in the third. It's the Hawks 4 and the Stars 2.
2 Blackhawks. Blackhawks 4 goals on 30 shots. The North Stars 2 goals on 29 shots.
17,883 in the place tonight. That's 570 some worth of standing room. Thrown out of the zone by Troy Murray and played back in by the North Stars. Greg Millen behind the net. Now Wilson. And that'll sail back to the North Stars zone. 5:51 to go in the third. Stars trail by 2. Need some late heroics here to pull this one out. We've seen it happen, certainly. Duchesne. Here's Neil Broughton coming right in, but they were offside on the play, and they'll face it off clear back in the North Star zone.
Well, you saw Doug Wilson back with him there as well, the Chicago defense, and making certain they don't allow any of the North Star forwards to get in behind him, and he was playing way deep back into his own zone as Broughton took that pass, but the two-line call will nullify the play and bring the face-off back inside the North Star blue line.
If you just joined us, the Stars' Don Barber scored a power play goal in the first, and they led 1-0 at the end of one, but then 2 goals a minute, 6 apart by Wayne Presley, and 2 more later in the period by Jeremy Roenick put the Hawks up 4-1. Alt DeLeon at 9:50 into the third has made it 4-2. Also, the Hawks playing without the services of defenseman Keith Brown and their fine player Dennis Savard. They were both tossed out by referee Andy Van Hellemond in separate high-sticking incidents in the first period. High-sticking majors and game misconduct. A drive now by Aaron Broughton, but no. And on the rebound off the inboards, Millen had to go down and cover it up.
Well, Chicago trying to play a little tentative here in this third period, but you'll watch the play as it unfolds. The North Stars having a couple of good chances they've been unable to capitalize on. Here's a shot coming right in the goaltender off the backboard. But look at 2 of the North Stars going there, but Greg Millen down on the ice able to hold on to it as Aaron Broughton ultimately going for the puck, but could not pick up on it.
5:27 left in the third. Blackhawks 4, North Stars 2. With Tom Reed, Doug McLeod at SRO Chicago Stadium. 60 shots on goal in this hockey game, and they're evenly divided, 30 apiece. Now Gagne in for the draw against Chicago's Troy Murray. They'll toss them out, and Ryan Bellows will come on for Minnesota to take it against Chicago's Jocelyn Lemieux. Well, let's see here. Nobody else is ready, but they are. Linesman Wayne Bonney get everything set, and now here we go. Chambers picks it back at his own blue line, guns it ahead to Gagne, has tipped it in the zone. Millen serves it up. Wilson knocks it clear. Larry Murphy tried to keep it in, but Gilbert played it away from him, and here's Troy Murray. Cutting in and shooting, save. It was too high for Gilbert to get a rebound, and Murphy plows into him. Now Sean Chambers shovels it ahead for Bellows. Larry Murphy, who got the game winner Saturday in the 5-3 North Star victory at home. Bellows bumps off it by Thomas, and Creighton comes back out for Chicago. Thomas over the line for the Hawks. He shoots right under the ankle or skate of Billy Siren. Now Creighton and Siren go into the corner boards. Presley with 2 goals in the second period. In front, Yanni shoots and a save by Casey. Stops the clock with 4 minutes, 32 seconds to go in the third period. It is the Chicago Blackhawks 4 and the Minnesota North Stars 2.
The face off to his right, 4:32 to go. Blackhawks ahead by 2.
From the draw in the North Star zone. Wilson tried to keep it in at the point, got nailed by Gavin. It popped out, but the whistle had already been blown by Olden. Needs 2 more to tie it. Neil Wilkinson. Here is Gavin. Check by Goulet. Duchesne. Wilkinson shoots off the blocker of Millen. Now a blast by Tenorti right on, and a save by Greg Millen. Goulet brings it back out for Chicago and dumps it in the North Star zone. Tenorti. Checked by Larmer. Now Gaetan Duchesne has the puck for Minnesota. Under 4 minutes to go. Here's Tenorti. Away from Madonna. And Conroy will fire it back in for Chicago. Chambers behind the net for the Stars. Here's Tenorti. Now away from McRae. Kept in by Yanni. And Madonna and Yanni had a little collision at the point as the puck sailed up into the crowd. 4-2 Chicago. 3 minutes and 37 seconds left in the North Stars season unless they nail a couple in short order here.
Now both these teams realize the importance of staying out of the penalty box right now. The North Stars don't need to be shorthanded. They need somebody to be able to be on the ice, not in the penalty box. And Chicago, on the other hand, realizes the same thing. They don't want to be shorthanded and give the North Stars any more life than they presently have. Here, Paget pulling on all the ropes right now as he is trying to match up his lines against Chicago's defensive lines right now, trying to get something going with Minnesota with just a little over 3.5 minutes remaining in the third period.
Bob Murray zings it in and hits the linesman, Swede Knox. Now behind the North Star net, here is Sean Chambers for Minnesota. Chambers with Giles keeping Creighton out of the way. Maybe icing on the North Stars, and as Bob Murray touches it, it is icing. 3:19 to go, and the Stars ice the puck with the Hawks leading 4-2. Hazel McRae pulls it out of a crowd, wings it out to center. Here is Manson back in his own line, and right back to the North Star zone again. Giles touching the puck, and that'll be icing on Chicago. And a little yapping going on back there. The North Stars happen to pull this one out in the final 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Well, you can bet it'll go overtime if that's going to happen. They'll open Wednesday in St. Louis. Hope springs eternal, but the score is still 4-2 Hawks. With 185 seconds to play. Now Neil Broughton for the draw against Dennis Savard. against Troy Murray. What am I saying? Savard was out in the first period. Has been tossed out for the game. The series has gone on too long. 7 games, for crying out loud. Well, whatever happens, the Blues have got to be licking their chops because they've got time off here. They've got minor bumps and bruises to heal. They got a little time to rest, a little time to practice, which is difficult to find time for, almost impossible during the playoffs. Now the Hawks come back out again. Troy Murray over the line, centering. Lemieux, save by Casey. Now a shot by Gilbert and a save. Gilbert again, backhand, he scores. Greg Gilbert scores his 3rd goal in the playoffs and his 15th of the season, and that should just about put the lid on it as far as the Stars are concerned. It's 5-2 the Hawks at 17-10.
Well, just 2:50 to go in the hockey game right now, and the Blackhawks coming in, controlling the puck at 2-on-1. Look at the play right here as Casey makes a great diving save on Lemieux. The Blackhawks get the puck right back. Here's the second shot coming by Gilbert. Gilbert's able to go. Now look at the Blackhawks pressing. The North Stars standing there, and Gilbert goes in and picks up his own rebound and puts it behind goaltender John Casey right into the corner. And a 3-goal lead once again for the Hawks with just 2:50 to go.
There's a nice little bit of small caliber armament fired off down there. About a 3-inch gun, it sounded like. Now the puck comes to neutral. It is 5-2, the Blackhawks lead. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the 3rd period. Neil Wilkinson for the Stars. That's Aaron Broughton. Yanni to gun it away. And the Hawks get it out of the zone again. Tap back in, and Roenick throws it right back out again. Ulstily and back for Tenorti. Picked up by Dave Gagne at neutral. Gagne throws it to the slot, but there's Chicago's Dave Manson. Larmer and out of the zone. Now Creighton and Goulet 2-on-1. Murphy back. Creighton centers. Goulet fans on the shot.
This is where you start to see a lot of 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s because players have got to pinch in. The North Stars have got to take chances, and when you do that, you give up something defensively.
2-on-1 again. Creighton and Presley on Siren. Now Gagne catches up. Presley can't get the puck turned around. What he does, he throws it right to Billy Siren. Out now to Basil McRae. Turned back by Steve Thomas. What a force he has been in the playoffs for Chicago. 2 goals and 3 assists, but had he had no points, and he has another 2 assists here tonight, so it's 2 and 5. Had he had no points, what a presence he is on the puck. The players cannot hear the linesman. Thomas had to look at Sweet Knox to see if he'd blown the whistle. He had not, so Thomas went back digging for it. Now Siren for Churla. Modano swings it away. Yanni. Steve Thomas at center for Chicago. Last minute of play in the North Stars season as the Hawks lead it by 3. I don't think that's overly pessimistic. A lot of debris coming down on the ice now in the North Stars zone. Chambers for Basil McRae. Sherla, but no. Here's Giles up for Basil McRae. Over the line past Yanni, and Yanni checks McRae. Michel Goulet for Chicago. Half a minute to go. Dave Manson has the puck for the Blackhawks. Pucks all over the place, showering the North Star zone. John Casey trying to keep his concentration. Roenick just fired one into the net. 15 seconds to go. And the 1989-90 season of the North Stars will be history. And look at Greg Millen trying to get the fans to stop throwing all the stuff on the ice. Only 15 seconds to go in the game. Why hold it up? And why risk somebody getting hurt by catching an edge on that? And it could be a Blackhawk player.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They have to go back and play in just 2 nights. They will open up against St. Louis right here because they were at the top of the North Division. St. Louis in that second position. So the better record on the year, the Blackhawks will have the home ice advantage in the best of 7.
Incidentally, the assists on Greg Gilbert's goal go to Troy Murray and Jocelyn Lemieux at 17-10. Puck down onto Millen. Nowhere to play it. He'll just toss it. You hear them count the time down. And the North Stars season is over. They took the Norris Division semifinal series all the way into the 7th game and scored the first goal. But it was the big period that did them in. 2 by Presley and 2 by Roenick in the second period. The final score, the Chicago Blackhawks 5. The Minnesota North Stars 2. The Blackhawks advance to the Norris Division Finals Wednesday night here at Chicago Stadium against